today already. Hopefully that will continue. I've heard that happen. Matthew chapter 2 is where we're going to talk for a moment about the wise men who came from a long ways away seeking the Savior. Last week we talked about how Mary was the perfect receptacle for the seeking God. And this week we talked about how God is wanting us to seek Him and find Him. So it's a story about the three wise men, and these stories, we grow up with them, and there's a lot of romantic sort of layers put upon them, but they're so mysterious. Go back and read these stories from the birth of Christ again, just maybe with fresh eyes, and just see the mystery and the depth and the amazing ways that God has shown Himself to us in these stories. But here is Matthew chapter 2. The event is that the three wise men come to find Christ, and we say three only because there are three gifts. We really don't know how many magi there were, but we'll just assume there were three. And they come from a long ways away and find the Messiah. And probably, the little baby is not, Jesus is not just newborn, but probably within a 2-year window, it looks like that's when the magi show up in Bethlehem to worship God. So here's how it goes. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is one who's been born King of the Jews? We saw a star in the east and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them, "Where is the Christ that was to be born?" And they said, "In Bethlehem in Judea, for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you will come a ruler who will be shepherd of my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and make a careful search for the child, and as soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him." After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold and incense and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. Last week we saw how an insignificant teenager, insignificant in the minds of the world, an obscure little girl is the receptacle for God's Son deep even within her own body. And yet it was in her poverty that made her a perfect receiver for God. Now Messiah is born, and the question is, who will find him? In fact, that's the ultimate question that the New Testament seeks to flesh out, and the ultimate question for all of us is, who is going to find this Messiah? Three who found Jesus early on were these magi. And these guys were like scholars. They were the scientists of their day. They were astrologers in the sense of that is what they observed was the heavens and the stars. They're most likely from Arabia or from what was known then as Parthia, which is known today as Iran. And they traveled at least 800 miles, a journey of at least 40 days to come and find the King of the Jews. But surely they did not know who this Messiah would look like. And so they came with open hearts and open hands, kind of saying, "God, keep directing us until you show us exactly where we're supposed to go."